You went on that grand adventure through the sewers to snag some
let's
sweet,
see if this starts
sweet
working
sausage.
again. And? Yeah? Excellent connection. Okay, test. And? Okay, yeah. So yeah, that happened. I don't know. We are on in the home stretch here, but I guess my internet decided to crap out, so
Self-voicing enabled. Diamond remembers you, right? You went on that grand adventure through the sewers to snag some sweet, sweet sausage.
So we didn't really miss much, basically just in these people's hive, you know, just hanging out. Maybe lost like maybe 1 minute or so don't worry about it.
That does sound like something I do.
Sounds like it. He was there.
Listen, I really don't remember a lot of what happened right after my Lucis died and my hive was destroyed. I was going through a lot at the time.
You can't really argue with that. Having your house firebombed with your parents still in it is probably really traumatizing. You assume. You've never actually had a parent, but if you did and they were exploded, you'd probably be really sad. You'd have to make, like, 30 friends to cheer you up.
Before you ask, I remember absolutely nothing before my ascension, because apparently I had some sort of disorder or something. But I have pills now, so I can actually think and have energy to do things and stuff.
Really? Damn, that fucking sucks. You and Karun did all that, art talk. Thinking about it, you really can't blame Karun for not remembering you. You did just kinda show up, talk about art with them, and leave. Diamond gives you a flat stare.
So you're telling me that you've met all 3 of us on 3 completely separate occasions, all 3 of us forgot about you, and you've just so happened to reunite with all 3 of us at the same time?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, what are the fucking odds?
The slap he gives your back sends you stumbling to your knees.
Whoa, you okay, pal? I know I must have filled out a bit since last you saw me, but I don't think I'm that strong. When was the last time you ate anything?
That's a very good question. You have no idea. For all you know, your body has started digesting itself for nutrients.
Oh yeah, wouldn't have been the first time I've seen that. Stay right there and I'll get you some food.
With that completely unexpected announcement, Diamond disappears through a door, leaving you with Fazzer and Karun. So, sorry about the whole screaming thing before. You were pretty freaked out when you first woke up. You know, on account of the corpses. The look that Fazzer and Karun is giving you suggests that this doesn't strike them as being especially abnormal. Did you mention there was a ghost?
It would not surprise me at all. The vengeful dead are part and parcel of what we do.
Occupational hazard.
Oh, okay. But you did mention the ghost, right? And all the corpses.
Yes, a couple times now. Well, I'm going to my room to get ready for dinner.
Save slots. Close.
Oh, I do kind of
Go snoop in Diamond's room. Go snoop in Diamond's room.
I do want to go snoop, but
stay and talk to Fazzer.
It would probably be rude to like just up and leave this dude.
So, hey there, Fazzer.
He's cool too.
Greetings, foul demon.
Yeah. He really doesn't remember you.
Not at all.
Fine. Oh, wow, there are a lot of books here. Has Fazzer read all these? You're not sure you've seen this many books in one place before, ever. Except at the library, but you don't think the librarians are expected to read all the books. Or maybe they are on Alternia. You ask Fazzer if Alternian librarians, which probably have some sort of silly troll name like Libarbarians or something, have to read all the books in their libraries, Libarbaries.
What? No, that's ridiculous. All Empire-controlled sources of information are staffed by drones to prevent the dissemination of improper knowledge to the lower castes.
Oh, right, Alternia sucks. You forgot about that for a second. Father sighs and seems to relax a little bit.
Feel free to take a look around. If you see something interesting, just ask. About the books, not the other things you ask questions about.
Let's see.
Did he just say don't ask?
You wander the crowd for a while, hoping to run into your friends. You wander close.
Okay. A little save scum here.
Next file. Save slot. Close. What's up with the books?
You'll have to be more specific. As you can see, I have a number of books.
It would take you ages to go through all of these books in detail, but a few catch your eye. There's an entire row dedicated to a single series, a simple graphic of Eleusis that looks a lot like a pig replacing the spot on the spine where the title would normally be. Atop a nightstand is a pamphlet displaying some sort of humanoid plant with multiple eyes and way too many fangs for you to feel comfortable. The cover reads Domination Guide, Species 93872, Color Edition, and promises to contain secret tips, tricks and cheats to dealing with whatever alien this is. Finally, you see a shelf that's filled with a series of dusty titles like Subjugator Championship Wrestling with Faith, Troll Judaism in the Age of Interstellar Diaspora, and Snookered, How One Troll Invented a Moon Cult from Scratch. Are these religious texts? Maybe Father has changed more than you realized.
Was there anything else?
Why, as a matter of fact. Save slot. Close. What's the long series about?
Trimshapanshashog.
You aren't even going to pretend to know what he just said.
Written serially by an author who went only by the name of Eleusis, it was intended to be a short break in between larger works. In a twist of fate, it is currently his longest work, with new volumes published regularly. It's been going on so long that it's now synonymous with the author, the original title long forgotten.
Is it any good?
Oh yes, definitely. I'm not usually one for fantasy, but it makes its world feel real. Lots of depth. I have no doubt I'll be reading each new volume until I die. Perhaps even afterward, if Charon forgets to assign my replacement. Was there anything else?
Why, as a matter of fact. What's the Domination Guide about?
Every time a new sapient species is encountered, the Empire publishes a domination guide, explaining how to best turn them into workers for the colonies. There are quite a few species out there, and the methods needed to tame them can vary immensely.
That makes sense, you suppose, even if the idea of interstellar imperialism strikes you as pretty evil. You're not quite sure if you count as human, but the thought of a human domination guide being printed one day makes you feel queasy. Why does Father even own these?
I'm expected to spend the rest of my life on this ship. Whether I agree with the Empire's practices or not, the guides are one of the only ways I'm ever going to experience the universe outside of these walls.
That makes a weird kind of sense, even if it is an incredibly depressing thought. Father shrugs and you can see his expression sour.
Yes, I suppose. Was there anything else?
Why, as a matter of fact. What's with all the big, old-looking books?
That depends on which big, old-looking books you mean. I have quite a variety.
Father shuffles over to the shelves and taps a few of the volumes, sending a small plume of dust out into the air.
Religious texts, both of the more common and slightly older, slightly more heretical sort.
Heretical? Isn't that against some kind of imperial rules?
Perhaps. But those of us who deal with the deceased must be familiar with the possible conceptions of the afterlife that their spirits might hold. Ghosts are, of course, notoriously particular about that kind of thing. Sometimes we have to adapt our mannerism to fit their expectations.
So, he's saying he has to pretend to be a priest or whatever. Father rolls his eyes.
An inept way of phrasing it, but yes, I guess so. The rest of the texts are primarily related to the proper treatment and disposal of bodies.
You didn't realize that it was so complicated.
Oh yes, very complicated, and a number of things can go wrong. Best to be prepared. Was there anything else?
Why, as a matter of fact. What does he remember from Alternia? You know that Father doesn't really remember you.
Not in the slightest.
And you know that your showing up out of nowhere is extremely unusual.
Extremely.
But you swear you've met before. You were in a graveyard and you met him and talked about, you're not sure exactly, but you think it was, like, troll Marxism. Does that ring a bell? Then there was a big flash of light and his whole personality changed. Seriously. None of this is sounding familiar at all.
Well, I do remember my time in the graveyard.
Well, that's good.
But it feels as if it were a deep and distant dream.
Fuck.
And then, I remember dreams of a deep, booming voice in the green that felt like a warm blanket all around me. I didn't need to worry about anything anymore.
You feel a weird, crawling sensation all along your back.
But it's hard to recall it now.
You've gotta say, he seems a lot less enthusiastic about the Empire than he was when you last saw him. Father is quiet now, and he doesn't look like he really wants to talk about this.
There's more to that story than we have time for at present. Perhaps later.
Okay, you think that's probably enough for now. You get the sense that you're kind of annoying Father by being here, and you've got other stuff to do.
I suppose. It was nice to talk to a fellow appreciator of fine Alternian non-fiction literature, in any case. Perhaps you'd like to take some of this along for later perusal.
You're not sure if, he's already jamming several books into your arms. Handbook for the Presently Relieved of Life, oh that's morbid. And the Species Guide too. That definitely seems normal. And something called The Castes and Their Particular Maladies that looks, let's call it moderately to severely biased.
I've got more you can borrow if you ever find yourself in need.
No, you think this is good for now? You flip through the books Father gave you, hoping for some words of wisdom. Here's something. Void rot, gold bloods. A disease most commonly contracted via living in unsanitary conditions, void rot destroys a gold blood's eyes, removing their ability to regulate their capacitance and resulting in a constant discharge of energy. If a constant source of energy isn't found, the troll will expire as their body burns through its reserves, eventually digesting musculature and organs for the nutrients within. Almost always fatal, this disease leaves the afflicted with very little flesh to recycle, even if they weren't inedible. The castes and their particular maladies. How enlightening. Well, that was certainly something. You figure you can come back to these whenever you want if you want more insight into Alternian culture. Probably using some kind of icon in the upper right of the UI, if you were for some reason in a video game right now. You laughed nervously at Father, who simply fixes you with a strange look. Okay, cool, good chat. Look for Diamond's room, for snooping. Save slot 3, close. Look for Diamond's room, for snooping. You make a vague excuse and step out into the hallway, intent on seeing what's going on with Diamond. You're not sure where Diamond's room is exactly, but you're overcome with the powerful urge to snoop, so little details like knowing where you're going hardly even matter. You spend a good 10 minutes wandering, but eventually you find something that you think is probably Diamond's room. It's got his symbol on the door and his name written roughly in Alternian script. Wow, okay, this isn't exactly what you expected. The room is stark, brightly lit and almost completely unfurnished, other than the Recuperacun and the fish tank sitting over there. The whole place looks like something out of the showroom at a particularly avant-garde furniture store. Guess you can look around. Quit, save slot 4, save, close. Look at the fish tank sits up against the wall, filled with sand and plants, along with a couple of small, purple fish swimming lazily around. You've got no idea how Diamond even got this here, much less populated it with living fish. Maybe the fish are some kind of weird parasite that lives in corpses? That honestly wouldn't be too far-fetched, given everything else you've seen. You flip through the books Father gave you, hoping for some words of wisdom. Here's something. The isolation chamber. Assuming your presence is properly detected before you possess and dismember the body disposal team, you will likely be placed into a specially prepared isolation chamber. Rest assured that this is for your own safety and comfort and not simply because you freak everyone the fuck out with your weird ghost shit. Handbook for the presently relieved of life. How enlightening. Look at the book. Look at the books. There aren't even that many books here, just a couple hardcovers coated in a fine layer of dirt and grime. You can barely even make out the titles. Looking at a few pages, it looks like these are core processing manuals, full of information on how to properly prepare bodies. Hopefully your experiences with dead bodies are over and done with. Look at the Recuperacun. The Recuperacun looks like it's the same basic model as all the other ones you've seen, basically everywhere. Nothing special at all. But, as you look closer at it, you start to notice small differences between the Recuperacun here and some of the other ones you've seen before. The slime looks like it's a slightly different shade of green, and a quick check with your finger lets you know it's slightly more viscous as well. You feel like all of this means something, but you have no idea what. Just another piece of information to store in your mental files to pester someone about later. You think you've probably exhausted all of your options in this surprisingly minimalist room. Maybe it'd be better to do something else? As you're turning to leave the room, something catches your eye, a piece of paper half crumpled and stuck in between the Recuperacun and the nightstand. Unable to resist the siren song of invading other people's privacy, you glance down at the form. It looks like some kind of a handwritten medical report. You're not sure who prepared it, but it doesn't take you long to skim through. It sounds like Diamond is having problems with memory loss, low energy, and occasional difficulty speaking. It sounds a little bit like how Karun was acting back on Alternia. Maybe they would know more about it? Go talk to Karun. You're not sure how to get to Karun's room from here, but that kind of small detail has never stopped you before. Out in the hallway, you begin walking along, checking doors for any sign of Karun. Fortunately, the respite blocks in this part of the ship are marked with caste symbols, and you remember Karun's symbol well enough to recognize it if you see it. After about 10 minutes of stumbling around having no idea where you're going, you finally reach a room with a half-open door adorned with Karun's symbol. Inside, the respite block is an absolute chaotic nightmare of stuff. There's posters and action figures and books and a surprisingly robust collection of skulls.
Oh, you're there.
They sound tired, but not in the probably need imminent medical intervention kind of way they did back on Alternia a couple sweeps ago. More like, just tired from having to work for the Empire.
You could say that. Tired. That's one way to put it.
They sigh.
Is there something you wanted?
Well, as a matter of fact. Save slot. Close. What do they remember from Alternia?
To be perfectly honest, not very much.
Really? Nothing at all? They don't even remember hanging out in the trash.
That does sound like me, but no, not really. What I remember from Alternia is more like a sense of place, you know? I remember being there, but not really what I was doing there.
Karun shrugs and smiles vaguely.
Weird thing to say for someone who grew up there, I guess.
Do they remember Ascension and the ordeals? You have a hard time picturing exactly what that consists of. From talking to your friends, you got the sense that it was a combination of various kinds of tests, military training, and professional education. You're not sure. The only other olive bloods you've talked to recently were in the army and on the run from being recruited into the army. Suabu.
Don't think I'm much cut out for that.
Karun flexes one of their arms jokingly and smiles.
Are you all set?
No, there was something else. What is all this stuff? Where are the purple bloods on this ship? You got the distinct impression that this was a purple blood ship, but you haven't actually seen any purple bloods anywhere. The people you've talked to and even the bodies you've seen are mostly lower bloods. Oh God, are the purple bloods killing low bloods for sport? Is that all that they do once they go through ascension?
You're good at jumping to conclusions, aren't you?
So, no sport killing? Karun shrugs.
I don't know, there's purples on the upper levels, but they never come down here. And the bodies come from all over the place, actually. Spiritual significance, I guess. In all the time we've been here, we never gave much thought to the why of it.
Karun shrugs their shoulders and smiles vaguely.
Sorry, I'm not actually sure, I just do my job. But I know that these folks aren't all being killed on the ship.
You feel like the word all is important there, but you're not going to say anything right away. Probably important to keep in mind for later, maybe not.
Are you all set?
No, there was something. They seem a lot more clear-headed. Now.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they seem to be more coherent when they talk. Less sedate. More lucid. They're not even breaking their sentences up as part of their quirk, and you don't think that's just because it's a nightmare of a quirk to automate.
What does any of that mean?
Never mind. They seem to be doing better, which is a weird thing to say, given how much Ascension generally sucks for trolls.
I don't know that I'd say I'm doing better. Life here is hard. I'm going to die here, I know it. The only positive is I get my pills now.
They mentioned that before, but it wasn't clear what they did exactly. Some kind of medicine, you assume? Karun nods and grins at you.
They make me feel less foggy. Does that make sense? I had a condition that made it hard for me to think, and it was getting worse.
It seems to you that Karun is describing some kind of antidepressant or something like that. You're not sure if that maps exactly to your knowledge of human physiology, but you're glad your friend is feeling better, so you nod and smile.
Still, I wish I could go back to Alternia sometimes.
Well, you're not going to make any wild promises, but maybe they can. Save slot. Maybe they can. Have they considered the possibility of leaving? Like, going back to Alternia?
That's crazy. Everyone knows it's forbidden. The only people who get to live on Alternia are on special assignment. Or like, the heiress and her palace.
Karun shrugs.
And the Ripples, I guess.
Right, exactly. Karun's eyes grow wide and they shake their head vigorously.
You shouldn't say stuff like that. You never know who's listening. Besides, it's not that bad here. We get food, we aren't being eaten by anything. Honestly, it's fine. Are you all set?
No, they're... What do they do here? Like, are they a core processor or something like that? You seem to vaguely recall another one of your friends using that word once. Karun shrugs and smiles at you.
Kind of. Core processing is so much simpler. Just take the bodies and dump them in a pile somewhere.
To be fair, you were recently in a pile of bodies.
Sure, but that's just step one of the process.
Okay, good to know there's a process, at least. But what do they do, specifically?
Take everything off the corpses, give them a good home.
Which, judging by the side of things, is in their respite block. Karun doesn't bother to dignify that with a response.
I check for anything dangerous when we're processing the bodies. Like explosives.
Is that common?
More than you might think. Or less, depending on your frame of reference.
Yeah, okay, wow. That definitely feels like an important note for later. Karun is looking increasingly done with your bullshit, and you feel like it might be nice to leave them alone for a little while. Time to go find some other way to make a nuisance of yourself. Karun clears their throat and fidgets with the edge of their cloak.
So, probably getting close to time to eat.
You can hear their stomach gurgle audibly and you nod, Sounds like as good a time as any for a bit of a scenery change. The cafeteria is filled with other trolls, all sitting around eating in small groups. Well, maybe filled with is overselling it, there's a handful of other trolls here. You can't help but wonder what they all do down here.
Support stuff, mostly. Keep the lights on, keep the pipes from blowing up too much.
Why are they all dressed so differently than Karun and Fazar, then?
Simply a product
Because
of
they don't
differing
work on
social
disposing of the bodies
expectations.
that come to
This
the
is
ship.
the uniform as the ship's main expert on the recently deceased.
Cool, and what's up with Karun's outfit?
I just like dressing like this. Who's gonna stop me?
Okay, good point, actually. So, there was actually something you wanted to talk about, now that they're both here. Something you found in Diamond's room. The two of them look extremely confused, glancing back and forth between each other.
Let's get another read.
You flip through the books Fazar gave you. Here's something. Progressive circulatory collapse, rust/bronze/olive bloods. A syndrome caused by unknown factors, strangely only present in low bloods, characterized by extreme fatigue, memory loss, and other associated issues. These will eventually cascade into the failure of several major organs if not constantly treated. The castes and their particular maladies. How enlightening. How
Well,
enlightening.
what is it? Don't continue to make us suffer the sting of your silence.
You flip through the books. Here's something. Hives. Many gold bloods raise and maintain mainframes full of the arthropods which produce mind honey, a substance with a variety of uses. Overconsumption of mind honey can lead to a variety of conditions including chemical dependency, the atrophying of muscles, and in the most extreme cases, the smell of mind honey coming from the troll may attract the arthropods that produce it, which attempt to turn the troll into a mainframe themselves. When this occurs, the troll is typically helpless to fight back as they become a hive for the creatures, which tunnel through them and turn their body into a suitable nest. Edible. The castes and their particular maladies. How enlightening. You flip through the books Fazar gave you. Here's something. Revenant spongiform encephalitis, all castes. Caused by the consumption of an improperly exorcised corpse, RSE manifests as the ghost of the eaten troll attempts to possess the body of the one who ate them. Symptoms typically include mood swings, violent behavior, and hallucinations, both from the spirit's influence as well as the inflammation in the think pan of the afflicted troll as their immune system attempts to fight off the foreign invader. If not treated immediately, inflammation or the subsequent holes in neural tissue can result in death. Contaminated meat is considered dangerous even if exorcised, and is inedible. How enlightening. You flip through the books Fazar gave. Here's something. The role of the exorcist. Remember that the exorcist is there to help you. Their job is to ensure that your journey into the great unknown hereafter is an expedient one. Not pleasant or meaningful, perhaps, but expedient. I feel it is important to emphasize speed here. Handbook for the presently relieved of life. How enlightening. You flip through the books Fazar. Here's something. Polycardia, olive bloods. A condition which results in the formation of multiple blood pushers inside the body of the afflicted troll. Can result in hyperactivity due to increased blood flow. Has a high comorbidity with Burgundy's lament, a mutation of the brain which causes an increase in sensitivity to certain neurotransmitters, resulting in heightened emotional response. Trolls with polycardia have a high risk of infarction. The comorbidity renders these trolls inedible. The castes and their particular maladies. How enlightening. You flip through the books Fazar gave you, hoping. Here's something. Species 347. Home planet Brockton. Physical description: resemble Alternian perbeasts in their larval stages. Intelligent, unknown. Notes: extremely parasitic. The Imperial Guide to Dominion, revised edition. How enlightening. You flip through the books. Here's something. Lamberbrundle syndrome, jade bloods. Royal jelly produced by the mother grub, when consumed by a grub, results in the metamorphosis into a drone. When consumed in trace amounts, such as in runoff which taints the drinking supply, the metamorphosis is initiated, but not completed, leaving the troll with more resistant skin or chitin, as well as a secondary nervous system. If the troll's primary nervous system is damaged, the secondary one activates, seemingly reviving them from fatal wounds. Afflicted trolls crave proteins, an instinct that in a full drone would allow it to repair the damage. Inedible and incredibly dangerous. The casts and their particular maladies.
Okay. This is referencing Kanaya from the original Homestead comic, so she goes a vampire mode.
How enlightening. You flip through the book's here's some wings, bronze bloods. For reasons unknown, bronze bloods are occasionally hatched with wings, typically stunted and malformed. Improper care of these wings may result in infection, which can spread to the rest of the body if not treated. Edible. The casts and their particular, how enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you, hoping for some words of wisdom. Here's something. Osteodactyly, olive bloods. Similar to ungulatism, osteodactyly is the overgrowth of the troll's endoskeleton, resulting in bone protruding through the skin, typically around the fingers, though spurs in other areas aren't uncommon. If left unchecked, internal growth can lead to punctured organs. Edible. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you, here's something. Vengeance. Remember, vengeance is rarely a good goal. You should definitely forget about those things that your former friends, associates, quadrant mates, and certain authors of death-related informational non-fiction books might have said and or done to you. Handbook for the presently relieved of life. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave, here's something. Here at Body Processing, safety is our #1 priority. Actually, that's not really true, but it definitely makes the top 10. Top 20, at the least. It's on the list. And in order to ensure safety, we've created a number of useful tools to help identify how a body should be properly disposed of. After all, we wouldn't want to try to incinerate a body whose non-corporeal remains are still tethered to this mortal plane. That would just be ridiculous. Official Ranker Owner's Manual. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you. Here's something. Species 607. Home planet, Ithacia. Physical description, approximately the size of an average Alternian. Pale skin, shambling appearance, and groaning cries. Intelligent, presumably. Notes, useful for performing menial technical labor. The Imperial Guide to Dominion, Revised Edition. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you, here's something. Willis deception, rust bloods. Theorized to be caused by their affinity for the echoes of deceased trolls, Willis deception occurs when a rust blood suffers a failure of one or more internal organs, which proceed to die within the body. Rather than perishing from this organ failure or the subsequent necrosis, the troll outwardly displays no ill effects, and likely will not even know something is wrong. This condition does not prevent the troll from dying from other causes. The necrosis renders the body inedible. The casts and their particular maladies. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you, hoping for some words of wisdom. Here's something. In addition to the useful tools we've provided, we encourage you to talk to senior staff and ask for their valuable input. They can help ensure that the zombies go in the incinerators, the spirit host bodies go into isolation, and everyone else goes in the protein grinder in the sky. That is, our protein grinder. We are, technically, in the sky. Oh, and if you happen to run into a rainbow drinker, make sure you hit that emergency button ASAP. Official Ranker Owner's Manual. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you, hoping for some words of wisdom. Here's something. Orientation. It is important to orientate yourself to your new situation. Try to find a fixed point to focus on, perhaps some kind of meaningful object of sentimental value or your burning desire for violent revenge. Whatever the case, keep that at the forefront of your mind at all times. Handbook for the presently relieved of life. How enlightening. How you flip through the books Father gave. Here's something. Species 978. Home planet Arcton. Physical description: small furry animals with long, pointed noses and whiskers. Possess long, agile tails used for grabbing objects. Intelligent, marginally. Notes: practice a primitive form of music that involves dancing on a keyboard-like instrument to produce random, atonal music. Considered extremely dangerous. The Imperial Guide to Dominion, Revised Edition. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you, hoping. Here's something. The afterlife. I want to emphasize that the afterlife, despite the existence of ghosts, is by no means a settled question. Our understanding is that ghosts exist in a liminal space between life and death, and what happens when they are fully exorcised is completely unknown. Don't let that deter you. After all, it might be better. Handbook for the presently relieved of life. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father. Here's something. Browen's gland, teal bloods. An organ that occasionally occurs in teal bloods, Browen's gland is situated near the diaphragm. The gland produces a chemical compound which ignites on contact with air, allowing trolls to seemingly breathe fire. Unfortunately, this mutation bestows no resistance to fire, with self-immolation being common. Edible. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you. Here's something. Ungulatism, rust/bronze bloods. Caused by a mutation of the genes regulating the formation of a troll's exoskeleton, ungulatism manifests as rapid buildup of exoskeletal material on a troll's hands or feet, resembling the hooves of certain grazing loci. Depending on the extent of the mutation, the exoskeletal material may grow within the limb as well, causing clotting which can lead to premature expiration. Edible. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you. Here's something. Species 508. Home planet Colony World 154. Physical description: about 3 feet high with long ears and powerful hind legs. Wear clothing made from simple fabrics. Intelligent, I guess. Notes: primitive technology, but extremely clever. The Imperial Guide to Dominion, Revised Edition. How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you, hoping for some word. Here's something. Grub scars, all castes. The term grub scars is a misnomer stemming from the belief that they are the remains of a group's legs after pupation. These scars actually occur when a troll emerges from their pupation and attempts to move. Depending on how quickly the troll learns to control their new limbs, they may continue to try to use the muscles that, until recently, controlled their juvenile limbs. In some cases, the strain may be so great that the muscle actually tears open the troll's new layer of skin. While gruesome, the wounds typically heal quickly, leaving the vibrant scarring behind. Edible. The castes and their how enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you. Here's something. The living. You may find that you have a sudden, perhaps overpowering, urge to consume and possess the living. I cannot stress enough that you should probably not give into this urge. Unless you feel like you have a really good reason to, of course. You're dead, who can stop you? How enlightening. You flip through the books Father gave you, hoping for some words of wisdom. Sadly, the tomes offer no more wisdom for you. Well, while you were, investigating Diamond's room, you happened to find evidence that he's suffering from some kind of medical condition that could probably use treatment. Standard disclaimers that you're not an Alternian doctor apply, of course.
I am getting the impression that maybe everyone here is already dead. It just hasn't realized it yet. Which would be unfortunate, because, I kind of like some of these characters. I don't really remember Karen But I do like Foster DM.
There's really no way to know.
Actually, we could use the scanner we use for examining bodies.
Okay, but what if Diamond has some kind of medical problem? Is there, like, a doctor you can take him to? The length of this pause is making you really uncomfortable with what the answer is going to be.
Medical facilities are locked off by blood color.
Okay, that's not ideal, but you think you might have another solution. You know that they don't really remember you, and you're kind of coming out of left field with this, but... Save. Next file page. Save slot 1. Save. Close menu. You can find people to help. You lower your voice and lean in, not sure how much you want the other trolls in the cafeteria to hear this. You see, there's rebels fighting the Empire.
Yeah, no shit, everyone knows that.
Okay, well, what if you told them that you happen to know some of these rebels? People who might be able to help Diamond get away from here, to help all of them get away from here. The rebels can probably find medical care for Diamond and help all of them get away from the Empire.
Working together, like a collective of some kind. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. You've seen plenty of evidence that trolls are perfectly able to work together, and this is a chance to use that to do something good rather than focus on galactic conquest for an empress that sees them as mere pawns.
I mean, at least the pawn has access to the laser eyes upgrade.
Okay, you really do not understand how Alternian chess works. Before you have a chance to close the loop on these thoughts, you hear a crackling noise and an unfamiliar voice comes onto a public address system.
Attention body disposal. Please report to processing room 1 immediately. This is a priority assignment.
Shit, where's Demon? This is gonna be such a pain in the bulge without him.
Hey, don't worry about that. Let him take it easy for now.
Absolutely unacceptable. We need someone to help handle the processing duties.
Well, good thing they've got someone right here. You gesture meaningfully at yourself and waggle your eyebrows.
I guess we could let them help.
I fear you are likely woefully unqualified for this.
That's okay, you do stuff you're unqualified for all the time. Acting as an unlicensed attorney, semi-professional graphic design, acting as an unlicensed therapist.
Fine, let's just go. We'll get in trouble if we wait for Demon.
It is imperative that you understand the gravity of this situation.
Oh yeah, you're all about gravity, like black holes and shit.
I'm not joking. If we fail in our duties, it can have severe consequences, both for us and the ship's crew at large.
Please don't fuck up and kill us, that's the point here.
You follow Karun and Fazzer through a series of unfamiliar corridors, finally arriving at a heavy door with a series of warning signs in Alternian all over it. The inside of the room reminds you vaguely of an old Timmy operating room, but everything is kind of grungy and gross. You're guessing that sterile conditions aren't super important when it comes to processing corpses. As you're looking around trying to get your bearings, Karun tosses you a heavy apron that feels like it's made out of thick leather.
You'll need this.
You struggle to put on the apron while Karun and Fazzer both move around the room preparing various objects. You can't help but wonder if they'll explain what it is you're supposed to actually be doing.
Ensure that the souls of the departed rest easy, or at least their non-corporeal residue essence.
Fazzer's not much for the concept of the soul.
Material reality supports no such conclusion.
Well, you know, except for all the ghosts.
Manifestations of energy and nothing more, potentially.
The autocratic decision-making entity is still out on that one.
In any case, you'll be needing this.
Fazzer hands you a small tablet, like your palm husk but less flashy. Ah, you were hoping for a pamphlet, actually, the kind that contains a series of colorful illustrations and guidance in helpful text form.
Alright, I've got a hot plate of bread loaf waiting, so let's get this shit done with. I'll send down the first body. You figure out what to do with it.
Okay, everyone ready?
I am attending my assigned position.
Save slot to close. Father, I am attending. You have no idea what you're doing. None whatsoever. Karun sighs and walks over to put their hand firmly on your shoulder.
It's really quite simple. As the one handling the physical bodies, you'll be guiding the process. First, a body will be deposited on the table. Next, I will be examining their possessions to look for objects that might hamper our efforts.
330. Blood color, olive blood. Job, security officer. Body description, there are no marks on the body. Location, Fleet Depot 1111, spare socks, pocket change, concussion grenade, handgun, unloaded ID card, holding bin. 0/4 Karun begins rooting around the body, going through their clothes. Finally, they pull something out of one of the corpse's pockets.
For example, this concussion grenade would have likely caused a catastrophic failure in the recycling system, killing all of us. So, no pressure.
330. Blood color, olive blood. Job,
We
security
will have to be
officer.
alert for signs of the
Body
incursion of
description.
vengeful
There
or
are no
otherwise
marks on the
dissatisfied spirits.
Location.
For example,
Fleet
the
Depot
presence of a spirit is often
1111.
accompanied by strange
Spare
voices
socks,
or a sudden
pocket
drop in
change,
temperature.
Handgun. 3. Self-voicing disabled.
You notice a thermometer off to the side, but it looks like it's holding steady. No voices either. Foslet stops for a second and closes his eyes and concentrates. So I think we might run into the Purple Blood twins, because I remember they died in the last adventure game. So it goes on.
I sense no sign that this body is haunted.
Cool, that's probably a good thing. So what now?
Now it's your turn to shine. You need to inspect the body physically. See, there's a chance that the body won't actually be dead. Kind of.
Okay, so this is going to be DM instead right here. Oh, and this is like... I'm not sure what the number next to them is.
A small chance that they might come back as a zombie.
You take a step back from the body, suddenly very aware of just how close it is to you. So, how do you tell if a body is going to be a zombie or not?
You can expect the corpse for lesions, I believe. Demon would know more.
Oh, okay, so each one of them has their own little thing they do as part of their body disposal. I'm sure DM and cooks and the ones that are edible, which is why the notes are saying these ones are edible and whatnot. Grab the scalpel and the bone hacking thingy and begin to conduct a hasty autopsy. Time to get to the bottom of this. Well, you set the scalpel 10 times down. Looks like you learn about all that you're going to from this body.
And he left his stethoscope to listen for the signs of a zombie coming back to life.
Which are fossil drugs.
I'm afraid I don't know. Perhaps an unusual noise of some kind. Corpses are typically not supposed to make noise.
You take the stethoscope and begin listening carefully to your chest and stomach for unusual sounds. As you listen, you don't hear anything out of the ordinary, which is, you assume, typical for dead bodies.
And once you've done everything, you need to tag the body.
We'll get to this one.
Self-voicing enabled. With a heavy noise, the body gets shunted into the weird face on the left. You assume that's the recycler.
Normally they go into recycling, but contaminated bodies need to go into the incinerator. and haunted corpses need to be interned for further processing.
Be careful, however. Interning worthless corpses will only draw the wrath of our superiors.
Having had a certain amount of exposure to Alternian Fleet senior officers, you feel like it would be good to avoid that.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay, cool. You've got this. You have indeed got this shit.
Are you done catching the new Rusty up? I'll send down the next few bodies. Just remember, time is ticking on these.
Save slot 3. Close control. Help. Help.
Oh, come on. Alright, the game didn't crash. I just have a error message thing. XML parser error, okay. Welcome, Junior Ran Coroner. Okay. I know what the Ran is for. Oh, so it's a cross between Rancor and Coroner. I get it. Here in the Imperial Body Processing and Disposal, we only have one saying. That which doesn't kill us will probably be back soon. So, in that spirit, I would like to welcome you to the ranks of Imperial Corpse Disposal. I'm sure that you have many questions such as, why are we processing these bodies? What do they actually do this for? How do the bodies that come here get selected? Who is ordering us to actually do this? When am I allowed to transfer to another division? Where is my next meal coming from? And let me assure you that practically all of your questions will probably never be answered, but don't let that deter you from doing your absolute best. You're imperially mandated to. For more practical survival-related questions, please quickly peruse the guide before hastily struggling to get through your shift alive.
2/4.
Here at Body Processing, safety is our number one priority. Actually, that's not really true, but it definitely makes up the top 10, top 20 at least. It's on the list. And in order to ensure safety, we've created a number of useful tools to help identify how a body should be properly... Evil cheese? Yeah, whatever. After all, we wouldn't want to incinerate a body whose non-corporeal remains are still tethered to this mortal plane. That would just be ridiculous. In addition to useful tools we've provided, we encourage you to talk to senior staff and ask their valuable input. They can help ensure that the zombies go to the incinerators, the spirit whose bodies go to the isolation, and everyone else goes into the protein grinder in the sky. That is our protein grinder, technically in the sky. Okay, they said that in the thing. Oh, and if you happen to run into a rainbow drinker, make sure to hit that emergency button ASAP.
3/4.
Okay. Okay, conduct autopsies, check for signs of zombies, check for the undead, check for zombies, check for hazardous materials not available in all. Not available in all. Alright, check for hazardous and sentimental possessions, check for spirits, check the body for cause of death and other details. The screen shows you how useful with the body, blood color, job, body description. They are cut, marks, okay.
3/4. 4/4.
You can move items into holding to prevent recycling hazardous materials. Recycle the body for standard bodies, incinerate bodies, isolate restless spirits, eject the body immediately for rainbow drinker. Okay.
Back.
Okay, I gotta try.
Self-voicing disabled.
Begin.
Sooner we get this done, sooner I can take a shit and go to sleep.
Okay. I don't think you did that right at all. All you could hear was the sound of blood rushing in your ears and Pendant is stood still, okay. by substituting recycling food. You wonder what it is they actually do.
God, I wish that were me right now. Sooner we get this done, sooner.
Okay. Electric torch. Okay, you didn't think that did that right? Nope, there's a blow. Body and everything, but there's no idea what we're looking. Let me try it again. Okay, try again. There you go, okay. Not doing very many of these. What is clicking these? Oh, okay, I think clicking these counts as safety. They're definitely not. Okay. Can it move slightly? Oh shit, that's what it is. Not by Okay, we got a zombie. What? Didn't get a chance to.
Self-voicing enabled. You find yourself once again in the featureless void of bad decisions and cryptic comments. Mage of Rage, Lobdik, doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, in our humble opinion. Oh, there's a new one, and it's spewing gibberish at you. Wonderful. Mage of Rage, you seem upset. Wanna talk about it? Or, think about it in a way that allows us to view your internal monologue, as the case may be. Of course you're upset. You only end up in this place when you fuck up so bad the only way to make things right is to undo whatever it was you did. Usually it involves dying, which, shockingly, sucks. Mage of Rage, would you rather you stayed dead? We might be able to do something about that, if you'd like. Mage of Rage, it would throw a wrench into things for sure, and all that salvation and revolution stuff would be for nothing, but the offer is there if you want it. No, that's not what you meant. You've been doing this for how long now? Mage of Rage, long enough. About a year our time, but that doesn't mean much to you. However long it's been, you have nothing to show for it. Just moving forward into more mistakes, more death. Mage of Rage, you've done more than you think. We know it's hard to see from where you are. Most progress is. Mage of Rage, from where we're sitting, though. You've come a long way from serving as a vehicle for vague homoeroticism and jokes about how hot dogs look pretty phallic. Mage of Rage, you care about people, now. You've found something to fight for, Mage of Rage, so just keep fighting a little longer. You're so close to the finish line, Mage of Rage, and don't be afraid to fuck up. We could always use a chat. Mage of Rage, we're rooting for you. Good luck.
Are you done catching the new Rusty up? I'll send down the next few bodies.
Begin processing.
Look, you fuck this up and into your ass.
141, 140, 139, 138, 137, 136, self-voicing disabled.
Poor bastard. Next! Sooner we get this done, sooner. God, I wish that were me right now.
Okay.
Any time.
Okay.
God, I wish that were me.
Wait a minute, so this one has a heartbeat.
Oh no, that's not good.
Alright, before you can even react, Charm dashes over and hits a button on one side of the table holding the body. The table drops quickly, a heavy door slams into place over it, and you can hear the distinct hiss of the pressure dropping into space. But did they just flush that body into space?
I saved your life is what I did. That was a rainbow drinker.
Wait, what?
Sometimes the Jade Bloods will reanimate. It's often an unpleasant experience for them. They become violent.
No time to bother with the incinerator. Best to just dump them into the void.
As long as I'm not the one justifying it to Central. I'm off the clock. See you when I see you.
Well, that's everything. Time to go eat.
So they're not actually going to unpack any of what you just found.
Not at all.
Self-voicing enabled. Back in the ship's cafeteria, you can see Diamond sitting at one of the tables, waiting by 4 trays full of food.
Hey, get over here! I wasn't sure what you are, biologically capable of eating, so I got you a little bit of everything.
Weirdly enough, you've never really had a problem with most Alternian food. Despite the names of most of the dishes, it isn't significantly worse than running to your average Taco Bell. The slime is actually pretty okay once you get used to it.
Well, there's plenty of slime to go around. Empire doesn't starve us, at least. So, I was wondering before, what are you even doing here?
You've heard so many variants of that specific question over the last few cycles that it's begun to lose all meaning. This time, you redirect the question a little. Does he really not remember you? Diamond stabs at a piece of food in front of him and it reminds you, oblong meat products. You bonded over those. Diamond turns and fixes you with an expression that looks to be halfway between contempt and pity.
I'd rather not talk about it right now if it's all the same to you.
Save. Save slot. Close. Push
it.
the subject. Now wait just a minute. You know that it's been a while, and you know that Diamond wasn't doing the best the last time you saw him.
That's a massive fucking understatement! I didn't have a hive!
You can see Diamond starting to tear up, but he quickly clenches his teeth and holds it back.
I lost my Lucis. The only thing I could do was wander around and exist.
Yeah, you've got some idea how that feels. You're very big on just existing lately.
Really?
Hey, it's okay, Demon.
Karun tries to raise a hand toward Diamond, but he quickly slaps it down.
No, it's not fucking okay! All they can think about is how I liked oblong meat products, as if I had any other choice other than begging for food. Just trying to find something to hold on to.
This has just gotten exponentially more uncomfortable.
Good. Maybe you deserve to be uncomfortable.
Without another word, Diamond slams his fork down on the table and gets up. Before you can even gather up you want to say, he's already out in the corridor and gone. You move to scramble after him, but Fozzer puts out a hand and presses down on your shoulder.
Not now.
But now is all you've got. You're not sure why you know that, but this is one of those things where the timing is critical. If not now, never.
Then, never.
Oh, jeez.
The council will see you now. Try. Back in the ship's cafeteria.
Hey, get over
you can
here!
see Diamond
I
sitting
wasn't
at
sure.
Weirdly enough,
really trying to,
you've never really
Well,
had a
there's
problem
plenty
with
of
most
slime to go
Alternian food.
around. So, I was
Despite
wondering
the
if
name, you've heard so many. This time, Diamond turns and fixes
I'd
you with
rather
an
not
expression.
talk.
Let it go. You have the urge to say something more about that, to push the issue more and see what the limits of your friendship really are, but you wisely decide not to do that. If anything, Diamond is more of a casual acquaintance, not the kind of person who you're close enough to start unpacking deep-seated trauma.
Good. There's a lot, and I don't want to talk about it if it's all the same to you.
Right? So, you found out about his medical condition.
You... what?
Okay, Diamond looks angry, but not at you specifically.
Out of one frying pan.
He's glancing back and forth between Karun and Fozzer.
Which one of you bulge-sniffing fucks told them?
Not I.
I didn't even know. Wait, Fozzer, you knew about this?
I do not recall when nor how I came upon the information.
I fucking told you.
Fozzer sighs and shrugs.
I was merely trying for a diplomatic approach.
No, you actually saw a note about it in his respite block. You swear you weren't, in this one specific instance, trying to pry. Diamond doesn't necessarily look happy about this explanation, but he eventually sits back down.
It's... fine, I guess.
Wait, why did you tell Fozzer but not me?
Why would I? From where I'm sitting, from how I'm treated, you might as well be a high blood.
You can see Karun start to say something, but they stop and bow their head quietly.
You'll be fine. Give me a half sweep to get out of your way and you can be in charge of another rust blood.
Now is probably a good time to point out that there's another option here. Like, an alternative to the back-breaking, and ultimately terminal, toil they're being forced to engage in.
Yeah, good luck with that.
No, you're serious. Save slot 5. Save. You've got a way to fight back, so you've been in regular, extended contact with the rebels. Oh wait, that came out wrong.
Did it?
Yeah, look, don't worry about it. What you meant to say was that you might know of some friendly people who might be able to take in a few trolls who are less than satisfied with the Empire.
So, like, the rebels?
Not exactly, but also, yes.
Yeah, sure, I'd be down to get the fuck out of here. Can't be worse than up here.
Oh, okay. That was surprisingly easy. You look over at Fozzer, who has a deep frown on his face. This feels like it's gonna be a harder sell.
Would you say that these rebels you mentioned are truly principled?
What?
You see, what you mentioned before about my personality.
Yeah, the way he'd shifted suddenly from being basically an Alternian communist to a space royalist. That was a bit much.
I was as loyal to the Empire as one can be. I knew Ascension was coming, and I wanted to make the most of my service. The whole reason I wanted to learn the art of exorcism was to help the Empire. After all, it's more complex than simply shoveling corpses.
Hey, there's a lot of nuance to shoveling corpses.
Of course. But you see, even as I passed my ordeal, something sat uneasy in my soluble nutrient piping. Why are there so few exorcists?
Well, you thought troll ghosts weren't that common?
That depends on many factors. But the vast invasions of the colony worlds, the number of those killed tragically, It produces an abundance of negative spiritual energy, and yet battlefield psychics are not trained to set them to rest. Instead, whole worlds are left to fester under the weight of that energy. Ghost battalions roam the wastes outside the colonies.
That does sound pretty bad, when he puts it like that.
It made no sense to me, until I discovered the work of Vladimir Lenin buried in the stack of old books.
Wait, seriously? That's their name, for real?
Oh, Empress, here he goes again with the Lenin stuff.
At first, I simply wanted to interrogate the lack of efficiency, to make our empire stronger. But as soon as I began, the cracks began to appear. The ability of the empire's facade to withstand the scrutiny of dialectic materialist analysis proved lacking.
So he basically logic-ed his way back around to being a communist?
The word is communalist, actually.
Okay, whatever slight Alternian spin on the Earth concept. Point being, he's down.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But if you're asking if I would support these rebels, the answer would be a qualified yes. As long as they hold true to their core beliefs and are willing to interrogate their own ingrained assumptions.
Sure, that sounds fine. You feel like this is a question that one of the more theory-heavy rebels will have to answer. Finally, you look over at Karun, and they do not seem to like where this conversation is going.
Of course I don't. This is fucking insane. Oh, let's just run off and join the rebellion. That's a good idea that definitely won't get us killed. Things aren't great up here, but they're fine.
Yeah, speak for yourself. At least you're not gonna be left to die when your stupid body decides to fuck you over. Whatever, I'm gonna go pack my shit. Assuming you've got a plan for getting us out of here?
You're working on it?
Fuck it, good enough for me.
No, this is stupid. I've got work to finish up. I'm not on board with this. It's suicide.
Okay, you're going to have to put a pin in the extended discussions about troll politics for now, because you've got some convincing to do. You don't want to leave Karun all by themselves up on this ship, so you should probably go talk to them. Not only that, but this is finally an opportunity to see how Diamond's feeling about the idea of leaving this all behind to hang out with some rebels, possibly in a cave. Save slots. Save. Go talk to Diamond. When you think about it, all the corridors in this ship look basically the same. It's like someone took the same two photos and copy-pasted them a bunch of times over. You thought massive orbital colony ships would be more varied inside, you guess? Whatever. You remember well enough how to get to Diamond's room. When you get there, Diamond is sitting by the edge of the Recuperacon, holding something in his hands. As soon as he sees you walk in, he stands up and shoves the photo back into his front pocket.
Hey, sorry, I was gonna go out and help with the last of the processing. We can talk a minute, if you want, I guess.
How's he, you're sorry how's he feeling about helping the rebels? How does he feel about Fozer? How does he
Fozer's
feel
good.
about Fozer?
Little heavy-handed on the whole communalism thing, but it's fine. Low blood's gotta have some class solidarity and all that.
You're a little bit surprised that Fozer is so heavy into that whole thing. Last time you saw him, he seemed to be almost fanatically in favor of the Empire.
Yeah, he was a real loyalist bulge kisser when we started up here. Annoying as fuck. But reading about communalism and being forced to toil in this awful job puts things into perspective, I guess.
You can imagine that would be the case, yeah.
Which is good, because if he hadn't stopped talking about how glorious the Empress was, I was gonna flush him out a fucking airlock.
Ha ha ha, good one.
I'm not joking.
Oh.
You good?
You are not, in fact, good. How does he feel about Karun?
I don't know, they're fine, I guess.
Well, he seemed pretty annoyed before about the whole medicine thing. Diamond shrugs and his face drops.
Yeah, well, they can't help how they were born, right? Or how the Empire sees us rustbloods.
Crew expendable, right?
Exactly. But things will be different now, right?
You can only hope. You know that the rebellion probably isn't as well equipped as the Empire, but you feel like the fact that they're willing to treat lowbloods equally at all is probably enough to offset a slight downgrade in facilities.
I mean, the fleet isn't exactly dumping a ton of resources into keeping us rustbloods alive.
That's a really good point, actually.
Okay, sure. It's better than where I'm at now. That's plenty for me. But you don't have to worry about me and Charon or whatever. They're fine. If they even decide to come with us in the first place, you know. You good?
You are not, in fact, good. Is he gonna
What do you
be
mean, okay?
Well, between the whole degenerative illness thing and the sudden shift in his life direction, you were just trying to get a general vibe check on him.
Guess I'm good as I can be, all things considered. I'm getting out of here. And that's something I never thought I'd be able to say. Rustbloods tend to not have a super long life expectancy. You think that's all down to biology?
Maybe. Diamond laughs.
Yeah, right. Short life expectancy. That's an occupational hazard, my weird little friend.
He called you his friend.
It's just a figure of speech here. Can you please not make this weird?
Too late.
Ugh. You good?
Yeah, you think you are, actually. Wait, why does he look so relieved now?
Nothing. No reason. Look, I've still got to go help out with those last few bodies. Wouldn't be right to just leave them for someone else.
Well, then you'll tag along and help. You're so good at tagging along and helping.
I think you're, demonstrably not. But I guess I can't actually stop you. Physically, I mean.
Or psychologically.
Fine, sure, whatever, let's go.
You're already mentally preparing yourself as you make your way to the body processing room. Karun definitely doesn't seem to want to leave, and you're not sure what you're supposed to say to change their mind. It's frustrating. The longer you're here, the more it seems like you're losing your grip on what you're supposed to be doing. You're a huge fan of the rebellion, but how are you supposed to win over someone who's just fine with how things are? It doesn't matter, the time for thinking is over, now it's time for, you don't even know.
Oh, you're here to help, I guess?
Yeah, they are. That's their whole deal. Wish they were sticking around. Makes my life so much easier.
He seems to be doing well, all things considered.
Are you kidding? This is the first time I've had even the hope of getting out of here. I'm fucking ecstatic.
You look over at Karun, who frowns and shakes their head.
Let's just get started. It'll be trickier without Fozzer here to help us.
Save. Next file. Save slot. Save.
Okay.
Begin processing.
Look, you fucked this up and into your asses, not mine.
215, 214, 213, 212. Self-voicing disabled.
Okay.
Good job, you're doing amazing. Now it's
All set. I'm logging this. Get ready for the next one.
Yeah, I guess he is.
You know, there's something that says that Karin can also head back to Alternia to hang out with the rebels, if that's something that...
It's not.
Yeah, look around, uncomfortable silence settling in.
They're my friends. You know that, right?
What do you mean by that?
What are you two talking about over here?
Never mind, we should keep going here.
Look, you fucked this up and into your asses, not mine. I wasn't paying attention. What happened?
2 down, 2 to go.
I don't want to talk about this.
But you didn't even say anything.
But you're
yet.
going to. You're gonna try and talk me into doing something insane.
Not necessarily. That depends on how you define everything.
No, we're not having this conversation right now.
What conversation?
Never mind, let's just get back to work.
Alright, let's do this thing.
Okay. Signs of frostbite and other. Okay, so maybe spirits. Pendant is dead still. Okay.
Good job, you're doing amazing. Now let's hurry this shit up.
Hey, we're almost done. Thanks for all your help. Wait, you never told us your name.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain.
Huh.
Look, you're not trying to pressure Charn or anything, but this isn't something they have to be scared.
Isn't it? You know how powerful the Empire is, right? What's your big plan for dealing with that?
You're not sure, actually.
Optimism isn't enough here. Maybe that works for Demon and Fozzer, but I've got something here. Actually, forget it. We've got another body to get through.
Look, you fuck this up and into your...
Uh-oh, it's a J. It's gonna be a rainbow drinker. Oddly enough, you think you hear a heart. Well, no one is yelling at you, so you think you really did the
Poor
right thing.
bastard. Next!
What? The entire...
A rainbow drinker, just like before.
Hey, one of your best friends is a rainbow drinker.
Good for them. We almost died. Fuck. I need a minute here.
So, that was a lot. You can understand if Charn wants to take a minute?
Yeah, I'll be in my room for a little while.
Self-voicing enabled. Okay, you'll catch up. And they're already gone. Sure enough, you open the door to Karun's room to find them pacing back and forth in the middle of the floor, absently kicking at bits and pieces of junk that have strayed from where they accumulate by the Recupera-kun.
Okay, I need to be honest with you. I'm not doing this.
What do they mean?
You know perfectly well what I mean. I'm not running off to join the rebellion or whatever.
But what about Diamond and Fozzer?
What about them? I'm not saying they can't join up. I won't stop them.
They grimace.
We'll miss them though. That's gonna suck.
Well, it doesn't have to be like that. They can come with you too. Once you get your super cool powers back, it'll be trivial to grab them all. No problem.
Sure, but what if you're wrong? What if you don't get those powers back? What if you're just making a promise you can't keep? Best case, I get my hopes up for nothing. Worst case...
They take a thumb and draw it across their throat. The meaning is clear enough. An empire that isn't exactly known for being forgiving, right?
Yeah, rather keep my head down. Nothing personal.
You guess you can respect that, even if you really don't like it? And hey, if they ever change their mind then they're welcome to tag along. Karun nods and smiles at you, but you get the feeling that you're not going to be seeing that smile again. Everyone is gathered around in the cafeteria once more. This time, no one is eating, but they're just kind of hanging out. You're not sure what to say to them next, because there's logistical stuff involved here, but also, you've got bigger questions and you're not sure how to bring those up. Fortunately, Karun interrupts you with a helpfully timed question to get the forward momentum going on your increasingly tenuous grip on exactly what the fuck you're doing.
So, How does this work exactly?
Well, about that, you know that they're all super jazzed about doing something to hurt the Empire. Except for Karun, of course, who you hope is super jazzed about being extremely tight-lipped about where their two friends have gotten off to.
About that. What's to keep this from being an instantly suicidal thing to do? Like you know the Empire means the Condes, right?
Yeah, you didn't forget about that. And the thing is, you've got a strange feeling that you're right on the verge of figuring out a way to handle that. It's just, well, you've got a weird request. You know that this ship has purple bloods on it, right? A lot of them, probably.
We don't know. But yes, that is a reasonable assumption to make. The Empire keeps them close at hand.
Feels like there's something to unpack there, but it's going on the later list for now. In any case, you kind of need to maybe figure out how to get to where the purple bloods are.
That's a stupid idea. You'll end up right back down here.
Well, no, you don't think you'll need to. Oh, wait, you see what they're saying. Funny.
They're right. You're gonna fucking die.
Not a chance. You're friends with the one and only Marvis Coloto.
Seriously? You're friends with Grandmaster Zalato?
You do well to remember lessons that famous Rustbud political thinker Karl Marx taught us about class solidarity. Namely, that you need to have it in the first place.
No, it's fine. Marvis is cool. Plus you promised a Jade Blood that you'd find her adopted purple blood daughter. The looks on their faces let you know that your three friends comprehended about a quarter of what you just said, but it's not important. The important part is you need to get to where the purple bloods are.
It is possible, if you're insisting on throwing your life away like this.
Well, shit. Guess we're not leaving after all. Nice idea while it lasted.
No. You're definitely gonna be able to pull this off.
Sure. I'll believe it when I see evidence.
Diamond walks over to the corner of the cafeteria and sits down by himself, leaning his head on his hands and looking generally disappointed. You hate to feel like you're letting a friend down, but this is definitely only a temporary situation.
If you insist, I can show you the way.
You do, in fact, insist. You grin at Karun, who only pulls a sour expression in return. You're not sure that they expect you to return from this alive.
What gave you that idea? Was it the part where I alluded to your death?
Okay, MX Sourpants, you don't have time for all this negativity. Lead away, Fozzer. Fozzer leads you down a series of corridors that, unsurprisingly, all look kind of similar. Except, finally, you take a turn and reach a door that you don't remember seeing before. It's labeled with various caution signs. As soon as you reach the door, Fozzer stops and glares at you.
Before you do this, I insist that you acknowledge what it is that you're about to do. The Purple Bloods have their own culture. You're already an outsider in our world. This will just make you doubly so.
You can handle that. You've been able to hang with Purple Bloods before. Of course 2 of them were isolated and maladjusted children and one of them was barely out of being a Wiggler Suohu, maybe not the most experienced with adult purple culture, no.
I suspected as much. I won't pretend to understand your ultimate goals, nor dissuade you from them. I simply want you to be careful.
Fozzer reaches out and presses a series of buttons on the keypad by the door. Wait, how does he know the code?
The spirits sometimes see interesting things. It's amazing what they will tell to ears that are willing to listen. This is a maintenance hatch. It will lead you to the place where the Purple Bloods live. Beyond that, I cannot help you. There is a strange force that prevents the spirits from going there.
That feels like relevant information, somehow. You'll have to circle back on that, if you get a chance.
My comrade, I can only wish you luck from here on out. I want to thank you for giving me a chance to reconsider my station in life. You make for a fine communalist.
With a soft smile and a wave, Fozzer turns and walks off. And now you're alone in front of a maintenance hatch that leads further into the bowels of the ship. It's dark in there, but when has a little bit of fear stopped you? You turn and step into the doorway. A few steps in, and it's already nearly pitch black. You find a ladder in front of you and begin to climb up into the darkness, every step sounding hollow in the pitch dark around you. You're not sure how much time passes in the darkness. The repetition of climbing rung after rung fades into background noise after 10 minutes, and then it's just you and the void for a while. You can hear the noises of the ship around you, the sounds of the engines in the distance and the various life support systems. And underneath all of that, something else. Something that's been getting more and more noticeable as you climb higher and higher. A low kind of hum that you can feel more than hear. It grows harder and harder to ignore with each rung of the ladder. And, finally, you feel the outline of a hatch in front of you. You feel for the handle, groping in the darkness, until finally you have it. Fortunately, it's not locked, the lock disengages smoothly and you can feel the hatch above you, swinging freely on its hinges. One solid push and you'll be there, in the home of the purple bloods in orbit. Slowly, you put your shoulder up against the hatch, and you push. Oh, holy shit. Volume 11, One Cast of Troll. Will spread the message of communalism to all Alternia. Writing: Jonah Uriley. Lorelei The. Voice cast: Hal Elson, Karun. Jonah Uriley, Doc Scratch, Patrol. Lorelei The. Fozzer. Seth Weeks, Diamond. Sprite Artists: Artsic Fox, Karun, Diamond, Fozzer. Background: Do you want to save your... Yeah, save slot,
Yeah.
Save slot 2, save... Miss Bar's journey will continue in Volume 12, Isle of the Dark Lotus Eaters.
And that is not out yet.
Volume
So,
11.
Yeah, that is where we are for now. So, once they finally get around to making number 12, which, you know, it's been months since we basically heard anything from them, so not sure, there may have been some drama going on in the development team, who knows, but there we are. So, till next time, I'm Leader.
Options.